Today is March 27th, 2015, and this is our weekly 10X Trainer Mastermind Call. This call happens every single Friday, and for right now it's been at 10 a.m. Pacific time. But one of the things I've learned in talking to several clients over the last couple of weeks is it's kind of hard to get a consensus on a time frame that works for everyone. And so I thought to myself, okay, what is the time frame that's going to work for me, the guy that's hosting the thing? And because most of the people like to get the recording. And so this week we're at 10 a.m., and starting next week we're going to be at 12 o'clock noon. And so the cool thing is if you're on the West Coast, the Pacific time zone, it's going to be during lunchtime. The Mountain time, it's going to be at 1 o'clock. Central is going to be 2 o'clock, and Eastern time zone is going to be 3 o'clock. And if you can make the live call, that's where the real value is. If you want to get the recording, no problem. It's always going to be available to you. My advice is this. This is the number one tip I'm going to give on today's call. Create a folder on your own personal computer and call it Trainer Program. And then download these calls every single week so you can own them. I have probably been doing this consistently for the last 3 years. I probably have over 3,000 hours of recorded content. And they're recordings I'll go back and listen to, and I'll pick up something new every time. And so just because you listen to an audio one time doesn't mean you've learned everything that you can learn out of it. Because what happens is over time you grow as a person. We all grow as people, and we're in a different place the next time we hear it. And so on today's call, this is kind of an open forum today. I've been talking with Georgiana Covell prior to starting the recording, and we got to talking about a topic of, okay, how can you custom design a coaching plan for your client? Because in this trainer program, we're talking about, okay, public speaking, and there's definitely modules and calls that we're doing on that. There are coaching. So some of you want to develop a coaching practice or a consulting practice, and there's going to be modules and training on that. And then others want to be a trainer. So train or represent somebody's brand or create their own brand or lead workshops and seminars. And so there's a ton of content. And in talking to my business partners, Grant Perry and John Kramer, what you're going to see come April 1 is we're looking in and evaluating learning management software right now. And so the thing going forward is going to be we have thousands of hours of content. And so going forward probably for the next 3 to 6 months, every Saturday we are going to be coming together and recording a boatload of content. You can participate in that if you want. You don't have to, but it's going to be a way for us to create a huge resource library for the trainer program. Also, starting April 1, we're going to be starting to package and sell the actual trainer program. And so the whole trainer program is designed to provide training and teaching content to teach you how to be a speaker, trainer, or coach, whether you represent your own brand, whether you represent our brand, the 10X brand. Doesn't really matter what brand you want to represent. The content and training here is designed to help you learn those skills and to help you build your business. And so, Georgiana, are you on the call?
I am.
Okay. So you and I started having a discussion about our coaching plan together over the next 90 days, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things we talked about is one of the things that we're going through over the next 12 weeks is getting you professionally trained in sales, right? And so there's two thoughts that we're kicking around is, okay, do we go through one module per week and really laser focus on that one module? Or do we just go, okay, listen to all 12 modules, just constantly listen to them? In fact, that's one of the only audio programs you're going to listen to over the next 12 weeks. And every week you're going to develop new problems, and we're going to work through it. And every week we're going to laser focus on one module. And so when you look at that, what do you think that appeals to you the most? Because in one thought is it's going to take you 12 weeks to be professionally trained. The other one is you get all the training now, and you start to try to implement it, and you do what's called experience, right? Because it's hard to train experience. Experience is where you go out and you start taking baby steps, and you're going to make mistakes. And the good thing is it's the quickest way to learn. And so you've been a coach. You've been doing landmark form. You've done a lot over the last years. So looking back on all your experience, what are your thoughts on what we're talking about?
The first thing that I think is just being able to go through everything, to have everything, because the one thing that I've just noticed so far, and although I'm just at the very beginning, is there's things that I'm already pretty practiced in, and then there's things that I'm not practiced in. So going through them a lot, I would really be able to uncover, excuse me, where I need to put my attention on, and so I could, having them all, I could stop at where I really need to focus, is what my thought process is anyway. Mm-hmm. And then it's kind of it's almost a self-designing. Obviously you know more about where I'm heading and what it takes and what I'm going to have to do. So between you and I, with both of them going, I could really say, this is what I've done around this, and you could say, okay, I got that. You are past. Let's go more to work on this, or, I don't know. That's my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And no, I agree. It's I'm a big fan of giving. Here's the whole program, and we laser focus on one area, right, of the sales process every week, right? And It's going to be driven by your own personal goals. Yeah. Where you're at, what challenges you're facing, et cetera, right? But the goal would be over time is you want to be able to walk away, and this is going to be for your own clients as well. The only reason I want to have this conversation is we're in the process of designing your programs, right? And this is going to be very valuable information. So understanding that this call is being recorded, understanding that other people are going to listen to it, okay? So I just want to set the stage there. How can I best help you today?
Oh, boy. Well, I think what you started out the call with was that I really had never even considered, specifically as something I would say to a client was designing a custom coaching plan for your client. Because, although that's what you're talking about doing with me, that I never had really put that as, I guess, a benefit. So potently, I guess, is so that people could get, oh, okay, wow, this is going to be custom designed for me.
Mm-hmm.
That happens, right? It does happen, but, really designing what best way to design a custom coaching plan for clients. I'd like to hear more about that.
Sure. Okay. So let me make sure I got a clear understanding. Let's talk more about, okay, how do you go about designing a customized coaching plan for a client, right?
Yeah.
Is that the question? Right?
Yep.
And also, it's like, okay, why would you want to do that? Why do you think it's important? You already hit the nail on the head, but I'd like to hear it again, is you mentioned, okay, it's an incredible benefit, right? So it's an incredible benefit when you think about, okay, designing a customized coaching plan for your client. Why do you see that to be a benefit?
Well, a couple of things. I mean, first off, just, at the beginning when you find out what people want to accomplish, your client wants to accomplish out of the coaching program that they're now engaged in, I think with the plan, not only is it just a benefit, like they would know where they're going and how they're going to get there. So there would be like a little bit more confidence for the client. But also they would be able to really clearly see if they're accomplishing what they wanted to accomplish out of being in the coaching, which, then creates the stage for them staying on track for what they're really here for, rather than going off in tangents of as life comes up and hits them in the face and they get off track for what they really came here for. So then you're setting up the win, I guess, the win for the client, and giving them access to ongoingly take on coaching, take on more coaching, because you now, inside of creating new problems for them, or them, opening up and being straight with themselves about what they're really dealing with, then, really ongoingly creating a new plan. That's what I kind of hear.
Mm-hmm. And so one of the benefits is realizing is in today's market, there's all kinds of coaches out there. I mean, coaching seems to be the new fad, right? And I'm calling it a fad because there are a ton of people who are classifying themselves as coaches. Some are good, some are not so good, right? And a friend of mine once said, people go into coaching because they weren't successful at what they were doing, and so instead of mastering what they were doing before, they're going to go and try to teach somebody else how to do it, right? And there are definitely people out there like that. I've run across them. And in fact, this time last year, actually in April of last year, a person came to me and they had gone through, there's a national organization that teaches and trains people how to be a business coach. And this guy paid quite a bit of money to be involved in that, and it's a known coaching organization. And he went through their training, and the benefits are they get access to their resources. They have weekly trainings and stuff like that. And this guy paid all this money and went through it, and then tried to go to market with his coaching program, and was just falling flat on his face. Was not having any success. And he and I are involved in the same type of professional networking organization. And he called me up and asked me if I would coach him on how to be a coach. And I found it very interesting because he was paying this other organization, and he actually had a personal mentor in that organization. And what I discovered in the process is he was trying to coach people in an area that he's never had success in. He's just read about, right? So he's trying to go in and be a business coach to organizations, and he wasn't having any success. Not only was he not having success getting results with them, but in a lot of cases he couldn't even get them to sign up with him. And really it came down to is he was trying to coach in an area that he had no success or background in.
Right.
And one of the things I've learned in my own coaching business, there are certain things that I can coach people on and have tremendous success with because I've gone through it, done it, been there, got the T-shirt, been successful at it. And then there are other areas I have no business coaching on because I've never dealt with it. And so here's the most valuable tip from today's call is take time to do an assessment of your own personal strengths and your weaknesses, areas that you could literally teach a college course on, and other areas that you desperately need help on, right? And to make it simple, the best way to find this out is to be in action, right? Is to coach people and discover you'll run across new things all the time, new problems and challenges, especially if you're coaching somebody for any length of time. New problems will arise. And just be aware of, okay, I'm not very solid in that area. And what you can do is you can start developing a list of strengths and weaknesses. And this is actually a positive exercise because what you want to do is you want to find resources out there, other people that are specialists in those areas of where you are weak. And the reason that's most valuable is part of the basic foundation of being a coach is not so much having the answers for everything. It's our clients typically have the answers within themselves, and being able to lead and guide them to the answers and helping them find the solutions to their own problems, and then having a resource library or a resource network that you can tap them into, that you can plug them into, so that they can get their needs met. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? And so what I would recommend is sit down. You've gone through a tremendous amount of training over the years, is to sit down and go, okay, what areas could I actually go to Sac State right now and teach a college course on? Right? What are the areas that I need some help in? That I can only probably teach an elementary class on, right? And then what are the areas I have no business trying to teach on? Okay. And by doing that exercise, we're going to be able to custom design your coaching program so you'll be happier, you'll be more successful, but more importantly, you'll know where you need to either outsource or get training on.
Great.
Okay? Because you'll be a lot happier and more successful when you're coaching people on an area that you love and that you're good at.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about coaching, which I would really like to see more taught out there, is with the amount of experience you've had in your life, there are areas that you are an absolute expert in. I mean, you've written the book, and the reason you've written the book is because you had the experience, right? And so with this particular client that I was working with, it took about 4 months to really nail this down for him. But at the end of the day, he was no longer doing business coaching. Okay? Mm-hmm. And he was the day that he made the mental flip, it was kind of depressing for him at one point, and then very exciting at another point. Depressing because he had spent all this money on that company, and he realized that it was no longer going to be as valuable as he thought it was going to be. But we ended up custom designing a program where, he had over 10 years of success in marketing, in video marketing, as a videographer. And so now he has a customized coaching program specifically for business owners where he can coach, mentor, train marketing. And he's loving life. And he's an expert. And if they need additional coaching, he has partnerships, POI, joint venture relationships that he has set up that he can now refer those clients to without worrying about those people stealing his client. And so here's the big takeaway. When we're looking at designing your coaching program, right, in order to properly design it, in order for you to be happy, in order for you to make the most money, and most importantly, in order for you to have the most success with your clients, right, we need to figure out, okay, what are you absolutely rock solid at? You know, what can you teach or train somebody that you are passionate about, that you know about, that you can handle any problem that comes up in that area? You know, what is that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the homework is this, is sit down before our next coaching session and write out those areas where, you can literally teach me a thing or two. Okay? And then I want you to mentally visualize, picture yourself teaching that at a college course. Right? The reason I want you to picture that is because if you can see yourself teaching it in front of a group of 30 students, then coaching somebody one-on-one is not going to be a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you mentally see yourself, and the only way you'd be mentally seeing yourself doing that is if it's something you love to do, right, that you're excited about.
Yeah.
So out of curiosity, and it's up to you whether you want to share this on this public call, if you will, what are some of those areas?
Leadership, for sure. Speaking. Being a speaker. Productivity, performance, being in action, setting and accomplishing goals are probably some of the ones, and health.
So leadership, public speaking, taking action, and health.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other areas?
Weight loss, fitness.
Who just joined us?
Oh, this is Sara Lopez.
Hey, Sara. You're at the right call, by the way.
Okay, good. I was wondering because it's been in and out.
We're right in the middle of it's an open coaching call, so I am right now. Me and Georgiana are going through a process, and so if you want to press *6, that'll mute you, and then we'll be done here. You can listen through because everything her and I are talking about will apply to you as well. Okay? So actually, let me set this up. Hold on just a second. Okay, Georgiana, you can press *6, and that will bring you back live on this call.
I'm here.
Okay. And so, Sarah, if you want to know what we're talking about on this call, you would then need to go back and listen to the recording before this segment, and then it'll all make sense. But so, Georgiana, so when you look at leadership, right?
Yeah.
What specific aspects of leadership? Well, actually, before I even go there, when you look at these four things, leadership, speaking, taking action, health, of those four topics, what is the most exciting thing for you?
Well, I think performance, because that without performance you can't impact any of the other ones.
Okay. So if none of them were going to impact the other, let me ask it a different way here. If none of them were going to impact the other, but it was one thing that you wanted to be known by, and one of the things, if I said, okay, you can only pick one, and this is how you're going to spend the next 5 years of your life immersed in this, which one of these 4 topics would be the most exciting for you?
Oh, God, it's really a toss-up. It's a toss-up between health and performance.
Okay.
I don't think I could. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I can't even choose which one.
Okay. So if we were going to go to market, right, if we were going to brand you, if we will, if somebody was going to Google you, or Google, one of these topics, and if they Google one of these topics, up pops your picture, what would you want to be known by? A health coach or a performance coach? Or a performance health coach?
A health, happiness, and success coach. Or to put it in what you just said, that's kind of what I've been branding myself now, is health, happiness, and success coach.
Okay. So kind of the full circle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so health, happiness, and success.
Yeah.
And so helping people in the area of health. And when you look at the whole health scenario, there's different aspects to health, right? So you've got the nutritional side of health. You've got the physical side of health. You've got the mental side of health. Okay? And so it fits in so many different areas, right? And so one of the things that I would say is being able to stand out in the market, right? Because there's a ton of health coaches, right? Like I can go to Google and type in health coach, and I'm going to get the insight. I'm going to get millions of people, right? But being able to go to market and say, okay, I'm a health, happiness, and success coach, and designing a brand around the circle of life or the full circle or whatever you come up with, right? Eat, love, and live. You take into account that the client is going to be with you for a while.
Right.
Right. And so health, happiness, success. I love it. Health, happiness, and success coach. Right?
Yeah.
And so when you're looking at designing your programs, and Sarah, this is for you as well, is we need to design. I learned this from a guy named Bill Barron. Bill Barron is one of the top trainers in the world on teaching how to create custom premium packages, specifically for coaches and speakers. To get one-on-one time with Bill, it's $50,000. Okay? And so one of the things, I went through his premium package success system, which is a program that he does for coaches like myself to teach them how to create custom packages, right? Premium packages. Is if you draw a pyramid on your piece of paper, and once you have the pyramid, you divide it into 3 parts. You got the base of the pyramid, And as you go up the pyramid, you get the middle, which becomes smaller, and then you get the top, which is another triangle all in itself, which is the top of the pyramid. Next to it, you're going to write, in the base of the pyramid, we're going to write free, the word free. In the middle, we're going to write the words front door. Now this, one of the things I learned from Bill is, and what's funny is when I actually went through his course, I had already done this, and so it was just validation of why it was working. And I had learned a lot to actually improve it. And that is, this applies to any service-type business. In Sarah's case, Sarah is an Amway distributor, but we're creating a business that's not the traditional Amway business. So we're creating an actual business where she actually owns the company, and she's going to be helping people with their health. And so she's not only going to have a product at the back end to be able to sell, but on the front end, really helping people with their health planning, health strategy, very similar to what you're looking to do yourself, right? And so at the very top of the pyramid, we're going to write the word, probably not going to be able to fit it in there, but on the side, write premium. And so when you're looking at the pyramid, you've got free at the bottom, you've got front door, and then you've got premium. Okay? And Sarah, you can press *6 and come on this call if you want, and because we're going to kind of brainstorm on this. This is going to apply to both of your businesses.
John, Sarah and I know one another as well.
Sarah, and you know, okay, that's right. We're all part of Liz.
Yeah, and
Sarah, are you still there?
I just unmuted myself.
Okay. All right. So here's what we got to do. We got to design something for free that we can take to the market. So free. I'm going to throw some ideas out there, and then I want to hear you ladies' input. So we can do a front of the room talk. We can do, so I'm going to write this down, front of room. We can do a conference call. We can do a webinar. We can do a free coaching session. Okay. We can create free training videos. Okay. Those are just the 5 main things that I do. And the key is they work. So what other ideas do you ladies have of something free? Now, let me ask you both a question, and I'll go with you first, Georgina. Why do you think free is important?
So they can, get to know, like, and trust me.
Very well said. Dada, why do you think free is important?
Likewise, developing the rapport, but at the same time getting an opportunity to get a glimpse of maybe what your values are and how the two can work together.
Mm-hmm. So this has just become, there's actually a book out there called Free, and it was written, I think, about 5 years ago. And this has become a phenomenon since Facebook came on the scene, since YouTube came on the scene. Really, it was Facebook and YouTube driving this free movement. Is people need to be able to, there's so much being thrown at people these days, so much content being done for free, And people some people have abused the whole free analogy, and so come to the webinar, come to the conference call, you're going to learn this, this, and this. You go to the webinar, and it's an hour-long webinar, and you're going through the webinar, and you, at the end, just to be in a sales pitch, and then you look back and go, I really didn't learn anything that I can actually implement. What I have to do if I want to actually get something out of it is I got to buy their damn product, right? And so it really wasn't free, right? It was a kind of a bait switch, right? And so what happens is that has happened so much that now people really want something of value for free, and you're going to stand out in the market in a huge way if it's genuine, right? And so that's why when I do a free coaching session, right, even though I'm pitching coaching at the end, even if we don't pursue a relationship, I've created a couple of things that they can do right away that they probably have never heard of, number one, and that if they implement, it will change their life forever, whether they ever talk to me ever again. And so what happens over time is you develop this relationship with the market, and you become known as an expert in your space and somebody known to provide value. And so when we look at who just joined us? Don't be shy. Who just joined us?
John, it's Grant.
Grant Perry. Welcome to the call.
Thank you.
So we're just brainstorming the free section of the package pyramid. Okay. All right. So back to our discussion. We got Georgiana and we've got Sada on the line. And so, so Georgiana, what do you think that you can do for free that if you do for free to the market, right? And Grant, you don't even have to mute yourself, buddy. It's an open discussion right now. If you don't, it's up to you. Georgiana, what do you think you can do for free right now that you would love to do?
Front of the room talks, webinars, free coaching sessions, conference call. I mean, everything that you said.
What's a talk that you can do right now that if you did it for free, whether it be on a front of the room talk, conference call, or webinar, if I actually attended or listened to it or watched it, I'd walk away going, wow, I want more.
I do a talk on creating your why.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. And so about how long is the talk?
It's about an hour and 15.
About an hour and 15 minutes. Now, is that an hour and 15 minutes of pure content and stories, or is it an hour and 15 minutes with a close at the end?
It's an hour and 15 with a close at the end.
Okay. And how long is the close?
Probably about 10 minutes, maybe at the most.
Okay. And so what would you close on at this point?
My 66 Women in 66 Days program.
Okay. And so when's your next webinar scheduled for?
It's not right now.
Okay. When's your next front of the room talk scheduled for?
Don't have one.
What about a conference call?
I haven't. I'll just tell you quickly. I have nothing scheduled except for a podcast interview, which isn't until April or May.
Okay. And so what do you think would be a really good step to do next week?
Schedule talk or conference call or webinar?
That's what I would do. Yeah, I think you're right. Now, here's the cool thing: you got one. You're going to have one participant at minimum because I'll attend it.
Okay.
Okay. And so here's the action plan: is do you have a webinar platform that you use?
I do.
Okay. And so here's the big takeaway: is today create a photo for it, right? Create a post for email. Create a post for social media. Pick a date. Now here's the time frames, and this is from national research. They keep statistics on all this, and I check on this statistic at least once every 3 months. So between 11 a.m. between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. on Tuesday is the number one slot, and that's 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time. Okay.
Wow.
The number 2 spot is Wednesday at the same time. The number 3 spot is Thursday at the same time. The number 4 spot is Friday, and then the last spot is Monday. Don't know why? Just go to Google and type in, and you'll see all the reading. When I write quote statistics like this, I always choose 5 to 10 different sources, not just one source. And this is kind of the consensus. Okay. So if you can do a webinar next Tuesday at 11 a.m., get it posted up. What I would recommend is condense. Let's work together to condense it down to a 45 to an hour long talk with the close.
Okay, I can do that easily. Yeah.
And so if you follow the Jim Rohn model, it's going to be intro, outcomes, chunk 1.
What was that?
Chunk 1.
Chunk 1.
Chunk 2. Chunk 3. And call to action, which is the close. Okay? So the intro, and I believe if you go back into the trainer program here on Facebook, you go here, and I'll tell you exactly where it's at. I did an entire call on this model. And let me go back here. So it's dated February 12th. And so let me, I'll find the call and I'll post it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't see the one up here that I'm thinking about. So I'll find it and I'll post it. But essentially, intro, outcomes, chunk 1, chunk 2, chunk 3, call to action is about a 45-minute talk. Okay? But a webinar, typically people are in, they're in for an hour. Right? They love it. Right? Go beyond an hour, you start to get people dropping off. Most of the time when I do a webinar and I go back and I run the reports around the 52 to 57-minute mark, they start dropping off.
Okay.
And so that's why I've condensed my talks, most of my talks, down to 45 minutes. So no more than 50. And so I would recommend you do that. So
45 minutes with the close.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so sometimes less is more.
Yeah,
Right?
I think I actually was under an hour when I actually did the teleseminar, now that I think about it.
Yeah. So I'd run the webinar next week, record it, and then do you have a Microsoft machine?
Yes.
Okay. So download and Microsoft, what's called Microsoft Movie Maker. It's called Microsoft Movie Maker. It's free. You can take the webinar and import it into Microsoft Movie Maker, and you can edit it.
Oh, okay.
And the cool thing is if you go to YouTube and go, how do I use Microsoft Movie Maker, there are step-by-step videos that will walk you through. It's very simple. I'm not a video guy, but I use that. It's very simple tools, and I put out a bunch of content. Okay? Now, SADA. Mm-hmm. And this applies to both you and even Grant, right, is if you notice, I put out little 2 to 3 minute selfie videos.
Uh-huh.
Right? Have you seen those?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think I have that. It's like the POI one, for instance.
Yeah.
Is that what you're referring to? Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Georgiana, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I want both of you to start coming up with little topics that you can translate in about a 1.5 to 2 minute video. Now, in my case, because I've been doing this for over a year consistently, I can go 3 to 4 minutes and people will actually watch it. Right? When you're brand new on the scene and they don't know you, you want to keep it right around a minute to a minute and a half. Okay? Just a short tip, right? So you're wanting to be a health, happiness, success coach, pick a bunch of different topics and teach it. And here's the rule. No selling allowed on the video. You just, hey everybody, it's Georgiana here, your health, happiness, and success coach. Wanted to send out this short tip on, you know what? What's your why? Right? And so one of the workshops that I do is I teach people this main point. Bam, 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 bam. So here's the homework for you today. I want you to go out and take some time over the next 24 hours to do this tip. And if you need help at all with any of this at all, feel free to reach out to me. Make it a great day. Talk to you later. Okay?
Okay.
Zara. So you can talk about anything to do with health, right? So you can look at different health tips out there. You can look at different things that you do, right? It doesn't have to be product specific. The key is to stay away from your product.
Okay.
Right? The key to these selfie videos is they need to have standalone value. Now, what standalone value means is they need to be able to watch the video and be able to take action on it without ever having to contact you. Now, let me ask you a question. Why would you spend your time doing this? And neither one of you can answer first. Why would you spend time doing something like this?
Visibility.
Yeah.
The more and more someone sees you, the more one hears of you, the more and more they will remember you.
And credibility.
I think. Credibility, absolutely.
Credibility, and you're going to overcome the biggest obstacle that you have right now, which is obscurity.
Yeah.
People don't know who you are. And so the reason I have about a 91, 92% appointment setting ratio, what that means is out of every 10 people I actually get into a conversation when I'm setting appointments, out of every 10 people I talk to, on average I set 9 appointments. This time last year, out of every 10 I talked to, I was setting probably 1 appointment.
Yay, there's hope for us, or at least for me.
Right.
There's hope for us.
How I got there was I decided, you know what? people don't know me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I started putting out a ton of free content. I'm just dogmatic about it. And the cool thing is that some of the videos you've been seeing coming out, they're just repurposed. I mean, some of those videos I did back in June. I'm just repackaging them and resending them out, so I don't even have to go back and redo them. You know? And so keep in mind when you're doing selfie videos, don't mention the date and the time. If you're going to develop an arsenal of this, and you're going to be able to repurpose it. Now, here's the cool thing. The reason my appointment setting ratio is so high is I only call people after I have given them something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so after they have received one of my selfie videos or after they have watched one of my videos, right? And so when I get them on the phone, they're like, oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing great. It's like it's instant trust and rapport, right? And they already know me.
And you're talking. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
But that would be different for people that you actually already know, though, right?
Yeah, probably 90%, probably 95% of all my clients are people I did not know.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay? They're either people I met doing the front of the room talk, a conference call, or a webinar.
So people that you've actually been able to retrieve, like business card, or if you've had any interaction with, those are people that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so, if you need help with, like, if you go to my YouTube channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So YouTube, type in Pyron Coach, right? You'll see. There's a ton of free videos up there. And each one of them is just golden, right? There's one up there specifically about, like I taught people how to get the most out of a mixer, right? A networking event in a mixer.
Mm-hmm. And
I can't tell you how many comments I've gotten, how many direct messages I've gotten going, I did what you said and it works. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
And so you want that type of content out there, okay? So here's the homework assignment for everybody on the live call, everybody listening to the recording. Design your free content. It's a big takeaway from today's call. If you're not getting new clients, if you're not getting appointments, right, you got to solve the problem of obscurity first, and then you can have as many appointments as you want.
Okay.
You know? See, today I already know I'm going to set up 2 appointments because that's my track to run on. I set up 2 appointments a day. That's all I do. And it's funny because I have my calls planned out, and I never get beyond 10 calls, 10 contacts, that is, without setting the 2. You know? And so, make it happen. Here's the deal. I'll know you're taking action on this, and this is for you ladies on the live call, or if you're listening to the recording, I'll know you listened to this call and took action on it when you tag me on your free post, on your video that you're going to post on Facebook. Because if you tag me, I'm going to throw it out to my network, I'm going to promote it, I'm going to endorse you, all that stuff. Okay? So anyways, I've got to run because I'm going to hop on I'm hosting the 10X Real Estate Mastermind call today. So if you're not part of the 10X Real Estate Mastermind, you can join it for free. And I'm going to be on there in about 1 minute, and I'm going to share work ethic as the topic today. So this has been a really good call today. I'll have the recording posted up there later on. Go out and make it happen. Have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Bye.